I was riding back from Kings, and I got in an accident. It wasn't my fault, but I've been blacked out for a good minute. I just came to after surgery.
Got hit by a car and destroyed my knee, tore my patella. I still have a torn quad, missing part of my kneecap.
And I remember waking up, I started crying. I just seen like my dreams just drift away. That was one of the hardest things.
It's going to be a long road back, but I love fighting, you know, so I'll get back on the ball and make it happen.
At that point in his life, fighting was the only thing that helped Sean escape absolute hell.
I always joke about my childhood and I say I wouldn't relive it for $1 billion.
When I think back, cannot recall one good memory. Not one good memory as a kid. So you cannot pay me to relive my life.
We were like, you know, like the neighborhood, there's always that one white trash house everybody avoids. Like there's always cop cars in the front, windows broken. Like that was us. Both my parents worked. They made good money, but we were poor. We were poor because after the cigarettes, the bars, and the fast food, we're poor. I mean, like, I can't tell you, you'd find a piece of paper and you wrinkled up, you use that toilet paper. Christmas was good for about the first hour of it before the drinking started. I always joked that if you could dodge a beer bottle, you could dodge a punch. I wasn't taught how to be a man. I hated my dad. Worst thing about my dad, dude, is like when I was a kid, dude, he was like the monster, dude. He was like the boogeyman. Everything about him I hated. Yes. Everything about him I hated. Every night, dude, I would go to bed thinking like, oh, my mom's gonna die tonight, you know? Because I thought my dad was gonna kill my mom.
So that's a lot of responsibility then you feel probably just to like take care of your mom.
Oh yeah. I used to sit there and just kind of like hug my mom's leg in the kitchen.
To make sure she was all right?
Yeah, I'd sleep under the bed, you know, I'd sleep by the door because I thought my dad was gonna kill my mom. So like,
there's one night, dude, I went to go sleep in my mom's room. My dad's like,
Dad, he's not sleeping here tonight. He's not, like, kick him out.
And I'm like, fuck it, like I just don't feel good about this tonight. I don't feel good about it tonight.
And so I like army crawl into the bed and I'm sleeping under the bed and like fleas were just like jumping all over me.
So my dad gets on top of my mom.
Like said, tonight's the night you're gonna die.
And I get out and the only thing I can see is a guitar.
So I go and I grab the guitar and I just smack him in the head as hard as I can. And I grab the phone and I run out and I call the cops. And my mom, she put all them out of jail the next day.
Oh my God.
I remember I was like in 3rd grade and I couldn't stay awake in school. And my teacher took my desk away from me and she made me like stand up. And so I'm like, you being a little kid, I just went and fell asleep on the ground. And mind you, like the school system's like, oh, Sean, like he's just a bad kid. They don't realize I'm up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Oh,
so yeah, right. So I started ditching in like 2nd, 3rd grade. Got a teacher tell me in like 7th, 8th grade, you're the reason why they build prisons.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're a little kid. Imagine that.
Nah, dude, but she nail on the head, dude. Like I was a bag, you know?
Right. But bags can grow up and become actual men.
I wouldn't say that he's uncoachable. As a coach, you have to adapt to certain individuals. Sean has that lone wolf mentality, that outlier mentality.
And that's one of those things too, where like a lot of people with trauma, you self-isolate yourself because it feels good.
Right.
People make you feel outcast and they don't make you feel right. And so what you do is you listen to those thoughts and you stay alone.
But on his road to recovery, Sean decides to surround himself with a team.
You, by nature, have to be your biggest fan, and some days you're not. But when you surround yourself with people that believe in you, some days when you don't believe in yourself, I think that's what takes you over the edge, man.
I was told by every doctor that I probably shouldn't fight again.
Hey, you're still missing part of your kneecap. You still have a complete tear in your quad. The hardest thing was just kind of telling these doctors to shut up. Like, you don't know what I can or can't do.
Once he kind of felt like we weren't going to abandon him, that he felt like he had a home, then you started seeing his leadership come out.
Next time, go take his spot.
One time, go. So for me, I gave Sean responsibilities. I need you to do this to make sure the team is doing this correctly. And what does that do to him? He feels a part of something and he takes that and runs with it. Then he started like helping the team more and helping the training partners more. Keep going. Prior to that, it was just always about himself. And I think now you could call him one of the best teammates in the room.
You know who's one of the best teammates? Chris Curtis. Speaking of my number one black friend, come on.
The podcast.
One of the best things about Sean Strickland is the fact that he's friends with you.
So, he's not as bad as we all think. He often says the right thing, but he delivers it the worst possible way.
What is the key to maintaining a friendship with Sean?
I tell people all the time, don't engage him.
But had they met 12 years earlier, that interaction would have gone much differently.
Who introduced you to neo-Nazism?
Yeah, man, so much there. My grandfather, dude, he was like 6'4". He's a piece of shit. But at the time, I hated my dad so much. He's just what I latched onto.
Super racist
guy, super racist, right?
You know,
Did he like you at all, you think, though?
no, he did. You know, he did. But like, you know, you're a kid with a piece of shit father, and like you just gravitate towards anything masculine. And like this is a big old white racist redneck, and I'm angry. So next thing I know, dude, I'm like,
Right. You're just saying racist
Yes.
shit at the house.
yeah, exactly.
So I started like gravitating towards like these racist, crazy, violent ideas. It's funny, like you ever seen American History X?
Yes.
So people always ask me like when I was a kid, who did I want to be? And like that's who I wanted to be, was one of those guys. Like I love the life they live, just like dirty white trash, and respect, you know? Like that was something like I would hero worship, you know, like that ideology.
Who do you hate, Danny?
I hate anyone that isn't white Protestant.
Why?
They're a burden to the advancement of the white race.
Good.
You can't have a belief system that is your own when you're in 6th grade. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody has to tell you, someone has to guide you down a path to have that belief system. He just kind of like filled your head with crazy shit.
It felt so great to hate something, but it ruined my life. You know, I go to 7th grade now, and here I am, like this little neo-Nazi. I remember I drew a swastika on my arm once.
I'm in elementary school. I'm in 7th grade. Like, I don't know what the that means.
And the teacher took me outside and like berated me, like, you're a piece of shit. At no point was he like, hey man, like, why is this like 12-year-old kid have a swastika on his arm?
Right. I mean, I got kicked out of high school for hate crimes.
Did you really?
Yeah. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't graduate elementary school.
What was the hate crime?
There was a Jewish kid running for class president, and you know, I said I said like Alaska needs another in power. I watched American History X once. I had racist like
from your grandfather.
Yeah, from like I just thought that was like, you know, I thought it was funny.
So what does middle school do? They look at you and they're like, this guy is a piece of shit. We need to isolate him from the general populace.
Because they're like, this kid's so dude, like there's no hope. We want to get him out.
I know he was a good kid, and it's a shame what he's been through, but that is dangerous.
Dangerous in what way?
Society doesn't help people who are done. They isolate you.
They do well at saying, hey, this kid is going to be a problem. We just got to like, he's like cancer. We just can't let him infect other people. Let's put him away. And then you get older and you just go to jail. Same shit.
Like I showed like sociopathic tendencies, and at no point did anybody ever say, hey, Sean, to help you.
I was on a fucked up path.
I used to blame everything and everyone. I didn't get no answers because I was asking the wrong questions. You have to ask the right question. Like what? Has anything you've done made your life better?
After his fighting career was nearly taken from him after a motorcycle accident, Sean Strickland returns tonight.
The Sean Strickland of 2018 was a very different person. Did you find yourself? Did you become more comfortable?
So I came from being a white trash piece of shit. So it's like whenever I got in front of a camera, you look at your peers. You look at the guys at the time who were the champs, you know, and they carried themselves so well and they wore suits where you're like, man, I want to have money. I want to distance myself from who I was. So I really tried to fit that image, and I hated it, man. Every time I wore a suit, I feel like a.
But you know, when you're out there and you're in modes, I mean, I probably shouldn't say that. Excuse me, guys. I don't mean in disrespect.
We'll bleed it.
All right, we'll bleed it. They'll bleed it.
You know, I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't feel like I didn't fit. And then after my motorcycle accident, honestly, it's way more freeing not to have to like try to fit the mold of a superstar. You know, it's like, it's way better. Way better.